Hold on, hold on. Hear this before you watch this series. Don't go fighting your family that did absolutely nothing to you. The goal of this series is not to encourage family estrangement and rebellion against your own family. The goal of this series is for you to be able to identify those toxic traits and situations that a lot of people have endured for a long time. Family is beautiful, family is sacred, family is a sanctuary. However, when you are in a toxic situation, the goal of this series is to help you to effectively walk through the situation towards healing and reconciliation where reconciliation is possible, and to help you live in continued health and healing where reconciliation is not possible. Hi everyone, it's nice to see you all again. It's been how long again? 2 years? I know. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lan Toby Spokuman. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and an entrepreneur. And I'm super excited to be back here to talk about it. We need to talk about these very hot conversations. You know, those things that you're like, keep quiet. You know, well, maybe because I'm from the African culture, I have noticed something. And this is a culture of silence, suppression. There are some topics that are no-go areas, but we will talk about it here. Yes, we will. This series, I titled it Silent Scars, and it's exposing toxic family dynamics. Oh, you want to talk about family? Oh, yes. It is hard. It is a no-go area, but we will be diving into it. Okay. So, I know family is something that is regarded as sacred, you know, a safe place, a sanctuary. It's a place where, you know, it's supposed to have an unconditional love. It's a place where you can be vulnerable. But it is not always like that. You know, if you are from that kind of a family where you experience genuine, imperfect love, you know, yeah, no family is perfect, yes. But if you're from that family that you can be vulnerable, you don't walk on eggshell, you can be yourself, you are loved. You have no idea what God has done for you, honestly. So, let's talk about this. You know, while there are very sweet, loving families, you know, there is always the other side of the rope, which is the very toxic, harmful, and, you know, destructive family settings where you have, you know, a culture of silence, suppression, and no matter how much harm, be it physical, emotional, or you know, or psychological harm that is being done to you, you're not permitted to talk about it. You just have to sip it in and suppress it. And you know, this has, you know, created a kind of a very deep, ingrained, you know, ingrained trauma, and it has been subtly and subconsciously passed from one generation to the other. So this is what a healthy family relationship looks like. You know, you have a family that is genuinely loving, though imperfect. Honestly, there is no perfect nothing anywhere. So a genuinely loving family, yes, imperfect, but there is a culture of emotional intelligence. There is a culture of mutual respect. When I mean mutual respect, I mean respect that goes both ways, from top to bottom, from the bottom to the top. I'm not talking about a one-way traffic kind of respect. The young is respecting the old is also respecting the young. I know, you know, there is some things we learned from our cultures. Like, I'm from Africa, so I'm familiar with the African culture and the African setting, family setting. So that would be like my case study. See, there is something about the African culture settings. The African culture family setting. That's what I wanted to say. It's a kind of family settings where what is clamored is to suppress the younger ones. The kind of respect that is promoted, is that a word? Yeah. It's the kind of respect that is one way. It goes only up. It doesn't come down. I've seen situations where it's like a taboo for a parent to tell their children, their kids, for the older sibling or older cousin or your uncle to say, I'm sorry, oh, I was wrong there. Oh, that's on me. It's a culture that gives a one-way accountability. Do you know there was something that I actually noticed after like almost 4 decades of being myself? I actually realized something that, when we were young, even up till around recently, when the older person is wrong in a situation, the younger one is still the one that must apologize to the older person. A very toxic culture of evading accountability by the older ones. Either your senior sibling, either your uncle, your parents, or probably, let me digress a little, your pastor. Whoever is above you, when they do you wrong, they are not wrong. And that is a very toxic culture that we need to break. And you know why this thing is very passionate and personal for me? These things, this culture, toxic culture and dynamics has been successfully passed from one generation to the other. You look back at your generation, you look back at your parents' generation, you look back at the grandparents, great-grandparents, ancestors, and you're like, this is how it is done. And this has become so ingrained that it has become something that nobody is talking about it, and trauma is being passed from generation, and we ourselves have become unconscious vehicles to carry this toxicity to the next generation. And that's why we need to talk about it. We need to look inward, and we need to start making corrections. Now, you see, a healthy family culture is a dynamics, is a family that has what I was saying, the emotional intelligence and the two-way kind of respect, accountability, that is, everybody has to be held accountable for their actions, no matter what step of the hierarchy you are. A family that has respect for boundaries. Another thing I observed is, growing up in the African setting, it is like you can't say no to an older person, whoever they are. Maybe your parent, maybe your older sibling, your older cousin, maybe probably a older pastor, maybe someone that is older than you in age, and maybe the what do I put in that? Yes, you can't say no. If you say no, it's disrespect. So there was no emphasis on the need for boundaries to be respected. Oh no, we are not blaming our parents. This is not a blame game, because really our parents did what was passed on to them. That is what they knew. But you and I need to do things differently. If you're still doing things you're still doing things the way it was done by your parents, by your grandparents, by your ancestors, then you are the villain. Yes, because with a lot of resources that we have now, which our parents did not have during their time, it would be wrong. It would not wrong is even mild. It would be pathetic for you to pass on this to your children. And this boundary thing is, it's a walk on an eggshell topic. So you're not permitted. Boundary is seen as disrespect. That is how it was in our time, and it still is. You know, all this culture, and we were raised with thinking this is how it is done. This is how no, those are our, it has become a cycle of control and deep cycle of manipulation. And that's why we need to point it out so we can do better by ourselves and by our children in put an end to toxic family traits. Let me tell you something. Family does not necessarily mean a safe place. And you have to be able to identify those traits, those toxic traits, to be able to even know that you are in a toxic situation. I was in a toxic family setting for a long time myself, and it took me to be exposed to what a family should be for me to realize that I've had some really toxic, harmful family interactions, situations. You know, it took me being in a setting of people, women, men who are professionals in identifying this kind of a thing, who are survivors of extremely toxic situation, and it took me to be able to name some of my experiences. Don't go away. In this series, we will be having trusted, seasoned experts. Survivors will be sharing their stories, and current victims of extreme toxic family situation will be sharing their story as well. Join us next Sunday as we unveil more of this deep-rooted social problem. Like, subscribe, share, and turn on notification. Put it on your status. Let those toxic family members see the damages they are doing for what it is. We are about to shatter one of the ugliest tables ever. See you next week.